Today, Gauteng Finance MEC Lebogang Maile tabled what was the province's medium-term budget policy statement as well as the adjustment budget before the provincial legislature. The total adjustment budget announced stands at a significant 3.3 billion rand, incorporating rollovers and funds from both national and provincial sources. The MEC Maile confirmed that the recent hosting of the high-profile G20 Summit in the province did generate an impressive more than 1 billion rand for the provincial coffers. Let's talk about this. Let's unpack all of it, shall we? And what it means for the province's financial health and where this money will be directed and the strategy behind managing these resources. Deputy Director General of Sustainable Fiscal Resources Management at the Gauteng Treasury, Mncedisi Vilakazi, joining us now. But Vilakazi, thank you so much for the time. Really, really appreciate it. We were just saying off camera, it's going to be about the implementation. This is a very interesting budget you've tabled over here. Major inflows from the G20 and a 3.3 billion rand budget boost. How do we ensure this works for people?
Thank you very much, R1bn, for really inviting us, and good morning to the viewers. Indeed, the budget is really just about giving life to the plans of the Gauteng Provincial government. Yeah. As we have indicated, really that yesterday an injection of about 2.2 billion rand was really seen in the budget that the MEC presented. It was an upward adjustment from the 172 billion rand that he presented on the 3rd of June to about 175.6 billion rand, which is now then the current budget for the Gauteng province.
You say 2.2. Is that 2.2 plus the more than 1 billion from the G20 that makes it 3.3? Sorry, just wanted clarity on that.
So in a form of really the cash. Yeah. So into the budget of Gauteng. So the overall adjustment was 3.3 billion rand. Yes. So the 1 billion, it's speaking to the economic spin-off to the province of hosting a major, global event.
Explain that to me very quickly, if you will. Is that and I'm going to call it profit for ease of reference for our consumers as well and for everybody watching at home. Is that a profit figure in the sense that you've taken away all the work that you've now done into refurbishing and fixing the city, whether it be in the form of streets, roads that had to be retarred, etc., and other areas, cutting of grass, etc., traffic lights. Is this, post all of that, you've made 1.1 billion after all of those costs have been taken into account?
It is the responsibility of government to create a conducive environment for the investors to invest in our economy. So all those things that you have just mentioned, it's primary responsibility of then the government. So when that is done, then investors are then able really to then bring in investment. So even the number that you have then really quoted, it's a preliminary number. Okay. So we will still be able to really know the full impact of hosting such an event by end of January. But as then the numbers have been released recently, we have seen already an indication of over 1 billion rand that was generated by hosting such a meeting.
Can I call you end of next month and get the exact figure? Can I call you for that?
Yes.
Okay, I think. Set. Yeah. How are we going to use it? Because people are going to say, is it going to be sustainable the way we've been doing things over the last maybe month or so leading up to the G20? We've fixed so many aspects. If one travels from the OR Tambo International Airport right through into the inner city, you've seen massive changes all the way leading to the south of Johannesburg, where the G20 was held, the Leaders Summit was held. Sustainability thereof, because the budget has to do all of that.
So the medium-term budget policy statement that MEC presented, really it's about the stability and the sustainability of public finances. Yeah. So that is really the responsibility that we have post the tabling of the medium-term budget policy statement, to ensure that there is sustainability in provision of the public services or public goods. but also even just the stability even in our finances, so that we are really able to meaningfully contribute to the growth of the economy, which is really the ultimate goal.
The growth of this economy will depend a lot on infrastructure. And that's the gross capital formation that gets put in place. As you said, the investors then will come into play as well. But one of the areas that need it the most is South Africa's, is Johannesburg city centre, primarily. I mean, we can talk about Gauteng as a whole, and we can even go to Tshwane, for example, too, which also needs help. But we'll be speaking to the mayor of Tshwane in a moment, actually, too, Nasipi Moya. But really around how do we fix the inner Johannesburg city centre? Is it just a case of funding? Is it just about revitalizing it with different shopping experiences, etc.? And is this the funding that is needed to actually go in that direction? Because it's something that Banyazali Sufi has spoken about. Lebogang Maile has also spoken about at the MEC. So how do we get that revitalized?
I think it's really a combination of many things. I think just talking about then the event, the G20 that we're talking about. Yeah. We've seen collaboration, between different metros. And I think that is really, really important. But not only just then the metros, but also even just then provincial government working together, even with national government, just towards a common goal, towards achieving a particular objective. So I really believe that even the issue of then the city regeneration, it's really, really then part of what could then be achieved by then the collaboration between the spheres of government. Money is part of it, but there's just really many other things that can then really contribute to it.
What would you say is the biggest priority over the next 3 to 5 years, which is plus minus the medium term here?
The medium-term budget policy statement, in its nature, is forward-looking.
Yes.
So it was just really giving the people of Gauteng an indication of what they should expect in the main budget that MEC for Finance and Economic Development, Mr. Lebogang Maile, will be presenting on the first week of March 2026. As he indicated yesterday when he was really presenting the statement, that we are in the season where we need to really just make sure that there is stability in the public finances through active debt management, ensuring that as government we are able to honor all our contractual obligation.
Yes.
And secondly, based on the revenue, aggressive revenue strategy that he also then touched on, and he will really then provide more details in March. So these are really then the two main areas that he will then be focusing, I think, for the rest of then the 7th administration.
I know what you're going to say possibly to this question that I'm going to ask you, because it's about that aggressive revenue strategy. And I know you're saying that the MEC will actually detail it a little bit more in the first week of March as he proceeds to give us that budget. But do you think that an aggressive revenue strategy in the economy that we're living in the investor climate that we're living in at this stage, is possible to attain? Whatever goals that might be put forward at a later stage, is it the right model to be taking on right now, considering where we are?
The first thing that he really focused on yesterday is economy, because the revenue-based can only be increased when the economy is growing. 100%. So that's the first part that he focused on. But when you also even come to then the revenue strategy itself, he is focusing on just optimization, ensuring that there are no leakages in the revenue that the economy is able to generate. I mean, for example, if you look at then the national numbers that the Minister of Finance presented on the 12th of November, we will then be able, the economy will be able to generate a revenue of about 1.9 trillion. Just for 25-26 financial year.
Is that off of optimizations?
Just the revenue collection nationally, because then our own revenue, most of then the sources, really they then come from national. Yeah. So even when you then come to the regional economy, it's the same thing, just to really make sure that you just optimize, because the economy is still constrained at this stage.
We can't finish this interview without going through that digital tender system. How significant and important is it, considering we're sitting with a situation now where we're asking ourselves how these tenders go wrong, who gets them, the right people perhaps getting different grading, etc., as a situation we have out of KZN, actually. How do we get this right? Is this going to be the model now that holds people accountable?
MEC for Finance, really, that's what she is striving at the moment, really to automate, to really just then make sure, I mean, we are in a smart province. So that is really what then the procurement processes are about, just to eliminate a human really interference with the procurement of goods and services.
When does it start getting implemented?
It's already been implemented.
Yeah.
So if you really just then look at even the processes, even for the procurement of services required, even for Gauteng,
yeah.
it has gone through, and even then the institutions that he mentioned yesterday that are already going through, it's already something that he is doing. It's not just a plan.
Vilakazi, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate you, especially coming into the studio as well for this conversation. I think a significant one for the hub, the economic hub of the country, Gauteng, needing to get that economic boost in order to really get itself going as well.